Alright, it has been a minute. Let's make something. I don't know what I want to make. Let's pick a BPM first. Let's go with 168. And then let's just pick a sound. I think I'm going to go with a bell. I have a particular one in mind. This Tibetron, or however you say that. Alright, so I'm going to go with a minor key. It doesn't really matter which, key itself I'm using. But I guess we can pick D sharp. And when I'm making melodies a lot of the time, I like to start on the root note, which in this case is D sharp. So let's do that. So I think I like this to start. Let's move one of these up or down so that there's like a little bit of a difference at some point. So I essentially just copy and pasted the same thing over and over again, each bar, and then just changed a few of the notes. Just moved. And then I think I want to do the same thing with the second half and change it a little bit more. Okay, I like the other two. This one I don't like. Let's move that one back. I think this will be like my bass line for my melody, and everything else will just kind of be built around this. Let's make this sound a little bit more human, kind of like somebody's playing it on a keyboard or something. There aren't any notes on top of each other, so strumming doesn't do anything, but typically I will strum the notes. And then I'm going to randomize the timing a little bit. I tend to consolidate things rather than letting them play through the synthesizers just because of the CPU usage. Typically, by the time I'm done making a beat, I've got so many different melody pieces that if all of them were running through the synths, like my computer would just crash. Like it wouldn't be able to handle it. So. There we go. Copy and paste Sakura so it has the exact same instrument, and then paste. And then I can just change the volume of the second, instance. And then I brought these up an octave. I don't know how it'll sound though. I like it, but I want to be able to change the velocity of it. So I tend to take things that are lower in frequency and separate them to push them out to the sides. And the reason I do that is because I tend to put things that are lower in frequency, like drum-wise, like the kick and the bass. I tend to put those almost entirely in mono. So the idea is I'm taking those other low frequencies in the song or the beat and getting them out of the way of the other things that I want to, impact and hit really hard and be in the center. Let me know if that is or isn't a good idea if you happen to be an expert in some kind of way. But that's my, my thinking, my thought process behind doing that. Comment below if your allergies are as bad as mine are right now. Holy. And it's not fully separated, just the low frequency is, but I am going to go ahead and put separated just because I might forget that later. And that's something, I don't know if I've mentioned that in a video before. I almost always label something if I have separated the signal. And that's so that as I'm arranging things, it makes it so that I'm aware of what is being pushed to the sides, because I'm not always wearing headphones when I'm like mixing and mastering. I kind of switch back and forth between headphones. I tend to do like the end of everything with headphones on, just so I know I'm hearing things a certain way. But A lot of the process is done normally just with two, well, currently with two speakers, behind my TV up there. I like to label it for stereo separation so that when I am arranging and mixing and mastering, it makes it so that I can put things on top of each other that are and aren't separated, so that things are out of each other's way. Like at once, like currently I have this that has some separated stuff, and this one is a mixture of mostly mono though. So when they're playing at the same time, they don't sound like they're on top of each other. It sounds like they're in their own space. Like the bells kind of sound high and in the middle, and the lower part of that cello sounds like it's low into the sides. So like everything is just completely out of each other's way. I think this bell has a frequency in it that I'm not a fan of. Okay, so I took the tubular bell, and I don't know if I showed much of this, so I've got the tubular bell in here, and I've filled up the effects array, or whatever this is called. I forgot. The mixer slots, um, effects slots. And because of that, I rerouted this to another one and started adding other ones. And so here's everything that I've added. Got a chorus, delay, fruity phalanges, which is kind of like stereo-y, reverby kind of deal. I don't know, it's hard to explain, and I think it also messes with the phase. It kind of like makes things go like left to right a little bit, and like pushes them out to the sides. It makes them a little bit phasey. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure somebody, actually knows what it does, like for sure, and can explain better. So if you were one of those people, please let us know in the comments. I've got a compressor just to kind of bring the volume of everything down and level so that things aren't, getting super, super loud at first. But then, like, the other effects I'm doing are going to kind of mess with that a little bit, which is why you see it going back and forth. I've got retro, which is just an emulation of RC20, or like a, like a knockoff version of it, I guess, by Frank Pohl on YouTube. I've got some reverb, which is mostly mixed out. It's just kind of there to add a little bit of, ambience, like low level. I've got an EQ, which there was some resonance that I wanted to cut out, as well as, ducking the lows. And also, when I'm adding noise, which I am with retro, I'm adding a small, tiny amount of noise. I like to kind of shave off the highest end of that so that there isn't too much at the very highest end. But I'm not really taking too much away there. I've got gross beat, which is kind of repeating the first part for a little bit of a section, and then this is reversing the end of everything. So, oh, there it is. You can hear it there. Yeah. So I guess I'll change it to 2 bars so that we can hear it. I do enjoy the reverse effect that I get from the gross beat. So I have another EQ after that, which is just ducking the lows again, because halftime pitches everything down an octave. And then I'm kind of shaving off the top, although in this case it's not really necessary because I don't have anything above, it looks like 10K or so. And then on the other mixer channel, I've got some delay, I've got another EQ, and I've got a spreader, which is just pushing things out to the sides even more so than they already are. In fact, I'm going to spread this out even more. So far, it's a pretty basic melody. Might extend this out so that it's twice as long. I think I'm gonna keep the original more or less the same, and then add another, like, send the same signal to a different mixer track and put effects only on that one, and then blend them together. There's a name for that, and I cannot remember it for the life of me. So essentially I'm just doubling the signal and then only putting effects on this one. And I'm going to put some chorus on it and then only do the wet signal. So it's only the wet version of the chorus. And then on just that wet chorus, I'm going to add some reverb. Okay, I think I'm happy with the choir. Okay, I think I want to take the choir and merge it a bit so that it's more centered. Oh, that's not the choir. Choir. And the reason I did that is because I already had my cello and my tubular bell are both separated, so there's already a lot that's like out on the sides, and even the original bells have, you know, some sounds and some frequencies and things that are going out to the sides as well. So it felt like there was too much happening out there and not a lot was happening in the center. So I brought the choir in and put it a little bit more in mono. That way there's, you know, there's more happening in the center as well as things happening on the sides. And for the purposes of this video, I think that's going to be about it. I will let the melody play a little bit here in just a minute. But if you have any questions about any part of the process, feel free to throw them down in the comments. If you have any suggestions for things you want to see in the future, throw that in the comments as well. And also, if you see anything that you think I can improve, you know, in any way, shape, or form, throw that in the comments as well. Put everything in the comments is what I'm trying to say. Just comment everything. So let's let it ride, and hope you enjoyed. Sorry, now I hope you enjoyed. I had it doubled.